Where does this man practice? Hemal? Hemal Casa. How many of you have gone to Hemal Casa? You have gone. Congratulations. If you want to be a doctor, you have to go to the untrodden path. Industrial visits is a part of MBA, and visits to such places should be a part of medicine. This man went to a place where nobody went. He waited for 2 years for his first patient. And to know his full story, how many of you seen his movie, Prakash Amte, the movie? Congratulations. I think this man is a man of the moment. And I dedicate this presentation to Dr. Prakash Amte and my teacher, Professor N.N. Wig. Now, teacher is very important in the life of a human being. And teachers need not be proximal. They need not exist in your institute. Professor N.N. Wig taught at Chandigarh PGI. I did my medicine in Topiwala National Medical College, Bombay, and in KM Hospital. He was in Chandigarh, but he could inspire me from a distance. Teachers would not mean they have to be always close to you. And I dedicate my entire presentation to Dr. Prakash Amte and to Professor Wig. And what happens is, when you come to your college, there is an orientation. And an orientation can be sometimes like this.
प्रतिष्ठा, अनुशासन, ये इस गुरुकुल के 3 स्तंभ हैं। ये वो आदर्श हैं जिससे हम आपका आने वाला कल बनाते हैं। आपसे पहले जो यहां से गुजर चुके हैं वो आपके लिए बहुत ऊंचे सिद्धांत छोड़ गए हैं। आज वो सब अपनी अपनी जगह बहुत कामयाब हो गए। कुछ बड़े लेखक, कुछ बड़े बिजनेसमैन, कुछ बड़े नेता, और उन सब में एक चीज सामान्य है, वो सब अपनी सारी जिंदगी इस गुरुकुल के सिखाए हुए उसूलों पे चले। आज आप सबको उस कामयाब वंश का हिस्सा।
Now, none of us would like this, because gone are the days of blind reverence. I still remember when I entered medicine. I was in first MBS, teachers were in MS and MD, and those PG students would always open the car of the teacher, hold the bag, and I wondered, where the hell am I? And those days, a PG teacher can fail his student 5 times and you could not do anything about it. Not when I was in PG, but much before that. And when I got into PG, my teacher had the same habit of offering his bag. And I told myself and my colleague, Anand Nadkani, हम किसी का वजन नहीं उठाएंगे. Blind reverence का जमाना गया. No blind reverence at all. And the first day, he gave his bag like this to Anand. Anand moved out. Anand, put it tu. Acha, tu na Harish gave, and I moved out. And from that day, he learned to carry his bag. The big change is happening now. Is there is no blind reverence, there is respect to a teacher. And you can point out to the teacher and say, तुम खाली उसको ही क्वेश्चन पूछने को देता है क्लास में, कितना बार ऐसा ऐसा करता है, मेरे को पूछता नहीं. And the teacher would accept it. Also, it so happens that during our time, we talked about simple living and high thinking. गरीब डॉक्टर मंडल सबसे अच्छा डॉक्टर. That has changed. 250 rupees per hour, I was told in the morning by Dr. Jadhav, your fees 80,000 per month. And so money has become a very important aspect of life. And there's no guilt about earning money at all. That's the big change which happened. The third change which is very important is that people are coming from all over the country. दिल्ली के यहाँ कितने लोग बैठे हैं? हमरा बिहार के कितने हैं जी? आपलं मराठी माणूस किती आहेत? आणि आपला गुजराती बाय पण છે અહીંયા. સાઉથ નો દક્ષિણ. Very nice, good. South, thank God, everybody is equal, but some are more equal than the rest. So what is so important is there is no reverence, there is Yes, money is important for us. We all want to earn money. And the third important thing is people can come from anywhere. But the point is, we will respect everybody. We may not like everybody, but we'll respect the existence of every student. The third most important thing is there is precision technology. हमारे ज़माने में हर्निया का इतना बड़ा डाग 1 फुट का, अभी इन लोग क्या करते हैं, छोटा सा ऐसा मशीन डालते हैं, टुक करके निकालते हैं. And that is something that changed big time. Fourth is aspirations are very high. Aspirations are in the sky. You guys are confident, you're not scared of anybody, and you want to touch the moon, and that is something which is very important. And the fifth thing which change which has happened is, globalization has made us think very differently. We don't think about India as the only place. So many boys now go to China to do their MBBS. They go to USSR to do their MBBS, and from there they go to US. And all of you are waiting to go here and there, and that I think is very, very important. And when we look at all this, let's look at what are the early issues when we start our work. The first days. And I spoke about the first days. Initially, some of us are very shy. Some of us are very extroverted. Where's that fellow Sannu? Kya jor jor se debate kiya hua hai? Kidhar Sannu? Hey, you are handsome. Forget your height here. You are handsome. Don't bother. No clothing. Huh? No clothing. And first days, 30% of kids always ask questions. 30% say, Sala, they are trying to impress them. I know. The 25% internal say, Dada, malum hai, shindi lagata hai. And the last 30%, jo hote hai, only apna class piche se kar rahe. So that's what happens. And these are the early days which happens in the college. And there are different types. We belong to an idealistic generation. डॉक्टर क्यों बनने का? समाज में बदल आना चाहिए हमारे वजह से. We believed in that nice gentleman, Mr. Gandhi. But so many of you would want to become as rich as Ambani. And so many of you don't know why you're here. बापू ने कहा अपने घर में कोई डॉक्टर नहीं है, बन जाओ. तो हम चले आए औरंगाबाद. पहले चेक किए खाना पीना कैसा है, हॉस्टल कैसा है, हमारे दोस्तवा यहाँ है क्या. But still, as you come together, what is so important about your medical colleges? It is a lab that will teach you how to live your life. And that is very important. It's a lab. You'll learn all. Where's the gentleman? क्या question पूछता था sir तुम? Dr. Ramte, Mark, I was told that you are a gynecologist, but you know also neurology so well. I was so impressed. I was coming to beautiful college. और सकाळी तो anesthetic काय विचारत होता. काय question काय मस्त anesthetic. काय नाव त्याचं? The सकाळी anesthetic was asking questions. तो तुमच्या बरोबर रो. तो असा केश तसा handsome. Epidemiologist, excellent doctor. So as we come here, this is a lab where we learn human life. तुम लोग सब लोग दोस्त बनेंगे, फिर तुम्हारा WhatsApp का ग्रुप होएगा, फिर 10 साल के बाद मिलेंगे, तेरे पास कौन सा गाड़ी है? And slowly, as my batch meets, we also meet after so long, and this group, then this place is a lab, is a human lab. And there could be different ways of doing this. अभी क्या है, इतना दूर आया ना लेक्चर को 3-4 कोट ने ऐसा डाला ना, लोग बोलेंगे इंटेलिजेंट नहीं. तो इन लोग कितना कोट बोला ना ऊपर बैठ के, ये ऐसा, I last my coat, this coat, तो अपन भी एक कोट, I put a coat here, I put a coat here. तो ये अपना अब्दुल कलाम. Next. So the early issues are, you people all read guides. हम लोग ऐसा फर्स्ट MBBS में ग्रेस एनाटॉमी में ऐसा छाती पे रखी भारी बुक है यार, गिर जाते थे हम लोग, पर मजा आता था बिकॉज इट वाज द बाइबल. अभी क्या हिंदुस्तानी जो ऑथर्स ने ऐसा गाइड बना दिया छोटा एंड व्हाटएवर. बट ग्रेस एनाटॉमी पढ़ लो, पेज टर्न करने में इतना मजा, और कुछ आने का नहीं, हॉस्टल में भागने का, एंड 4 लोग बैठ के सिखाने का. I would never read, but there was one fellow who used to teach all of us, and I used to hear, and I used to get more marks than that fellow. And his mother would say, Harish Shetty से बात मत करो, तुम उसको सिखाते हो, उसको तुम्हारे से अच्छा मार्क्स मिलता है. Next. Now teachers, very important. Now teachers are a different cup of tea, as I said. That is one. But what is so important is, you need to mine gold from every conversation. You can never blame a teacher. कोई भी teacher हो जो 10 साल काम किया, he or she can teach you something. Never dismiss a teacher when you enter a class. काय तू कसं काय शिकवतो? त्याला फक्त अंघोळ पण केलं नाही. असं नाही करायचं. MGM में तो असं होत नाही. सर म्हणतात होतो. श्रॉफ सर असं नाही म्हणाले, अशी म्हणाले, डॅड म्हणजे होतो. The point is, anybody who has worked for 5-10 years is capable of teaching you. And what is important is not teaching skills. What is important is learning skills. He found that in a class, 20 people put their hands up. Some of them want attention. Some of them have genuine grievance. But remember, always chase a teacher. Chase would mean कभी-कभी नहीं समझता, फिजियोलॉजी गाइडेंस पढ़ के भी किधर समझता है. वो बायोकेमिस्ट्री तो मेरे जिंदगी में कभी समझूंगा. So chase a teacher, which means go after a teacher. Go there, sir, I don't know, but तू क्लास मध्ये काय करतो तो? ऐकतो तो ना. नाही जात ना, आपलं स्कल बोन मध्ये तो ठीक आहे ना. जात नाही, काय करायचं? You don't pay attention to class. टीचर ने चिल्लाया तो घबराने का नहीं, क्योंकि टीचर दूसरी माँ होती है. मेरे पास गाड़ी है, बंगले, अस्पताल है, तुम्हारे पास क्या है? माँ है. So it's so important to understand that teachers have to be negotiated. No, assignments have to be given on time. Some of you might be actually killing your grandparents. My son killed his grandmother twice. Assignment, grandmother मर गया. So when I went to the school, went to the college, they said, how are you? How's the family doing? काय झालं? तुमची grandmother जिवंत आहे. So sometimes what happens is you can't give assignments on time because you're in love. You're in a coffee shop. You're in a coffee shop, you forget your assignment. Suddenly you remember in the morning. And suddenly come panting. You say, Udya Dena. But teachers are loving creatures. They might look angry. No teacher wants things bad about a student. So it's so important to ask questions without shame. Indians have a big issue of shame. लोग क्या बोलेंगे? तर मी असा विचार केला वाटतं मला 12th मध्ये किती पडलं माहिती का? 92. इन MBBS नथिंग मैटर्स. 12th का तू राजा होएगा अपना कॉलेज का, रानी होएगा, पर इधर लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड है. Everybody is a hero and a heroine. The point is, don't be ashamed. पूछो जो पूछने का है. वो लेफ्ट सेरेब्रम में क्या है? अरे क्या है ना, कुछ तो है ना. So it's so important to really chase your teacher. And when you chase your teacher, some of us are like this, overconfident. Absolutely overconfident. आम्हाला सगळं येते. आईचा आला फोन, काय नाही प्रॉब्लेम, मी घरी वाचतो, मी कॉलेजमध्ये अजिबात नाही जात, but I know everything. Some of us, when the exam appears, my God, the day before the exam, I would never sleep. Because portion never gets completed. Medicine में portion कम, ऐसा कोई है मेरा portion हो गया. And ऐसा एक तो बच्चे लोग होते हैं क्लास में, उनको देख के इतना गुस्सा आता है. इतना गुस्सा. I revision over twice. अरे करना तू 3 बार यार. मेरे को बोलता है. And unfortunately, gold medalists are always lonely because nobody likes them. उनको भेजा ऊपर वाले एक्स्ट्रा क्यों दिया? अपना नहीं होता रिवीजन, उसका क्यों होता है? And that is something which happens. And it so happens also that when you just before your exams, your mother phones up. कसं आहे परीक्षेची तयारी? आणि इथून आपण फोनवर कॉन्फिडेंटली बोलतोय. आजू फ्रेंड भी आहे ना बाजू, बोल बिंदास. आई सगळं झालंय. हो, मी देवळात जाऊन तुझ्यासाठी केलंय प्रार्थना. अपने को मालूम है अपने को क्या आता है. हाँ, माँ को क्या मालूम है MBBS और 12th में क्या फर्क है? माँ को थोड़ी मालूम है, माँ को मालूम नहीं. और फिर माँ एग्जाम के बाद फोन करती है, कैसे गया? माँ बहुत अच्छा गया. मार्क्स आने पर I don't know what this college, but they put it on the internet. You guys put it on the internet? Don't. And mark कभी आएगा रिजल्ट, कितना मिला, माँ 42 out of 50, क्या करेगा? I have my friend in my MBBS friend, Dr. Venkat is a pathologist, Dr. Kumar is a gynecologist, Dr. Sharma who is a chest physician, and Dr. Kamath who is the head of the Department of Psychiatry at one place. We still meet, and friendships are really formed here, and this is going to open.
वैसे हर एक फ्रेंड जरूरी होता है, क्लासरूम फ्रेंड, कोई क्लासरूम फ्रेंड, कोई एग्जाम हॉल वाला कॉपी फ्रेंड, मूवी वाली हाय वाली बाय वाली टॉप वाली अप.
And there are 5 things which you can do with your friend. First is, somebody is going to score more marks than you. ये 12th नहीं है, 12th में अपन किंग, इधर सारा सब किंग लोग, तभी ऐसा खुन्नस नहीं लेने का. अंदर से तो जलन होता है ना साला, उसको कैसा मिला रे. But this is I said, a medical college is a lab for understanding life. First, appreciate that boy or that girl. Or congratulations, I actually feel jealous. अंदर से क्या है, jealous होता है. But when you start appreciating, your heart opens. The first lesson is you build tons of gratitude, you build tons of love. When you appreciate, what happens is not the change in the other person, change inside you. And the change inside you is you start accepting people as they are, you start loving people as they are, and you understand the joy that har jeet hota rehta hai. Help. If somebody does not understand some subject, बैठ के सिखाने का, अपना भी revision हो जाता है. Revision हो जाता है. That I think is so important. And the fourth is share your feelings. As I said, this is a lab of life. Your mother and father may be quarreling at home and you may be very distressed and disturbed. And this is a place where your friends are your counselors. And you can say, क्या रे अभी क्या करूँ जरा, माँ और बाप इतना कारगिल चल रहे थे, इतना कारगिल चल रहे थे, महाभारत के लिए किसको टाइम नहीं है, short words. It's so important to share your feelings with each other because you are training your mind to get stronger, and people who share their feelings remain healthy all their lives. Remain healthy all their lives. In between, ऐसा भी हो सकता है कि अपन MBBS में आया, अपना बॉयफ्रेंड इंजीनियरिंग में गया, गुल, कल्टी मारा वो. Many breakups happen when one person is the medical college hostel and the other person is some remote village. कितना भी फोन करेगा, तेरा फोन एंगेज जा रहा था, तू किधर थी? अरे वो नहीं थी, ब्रेकअप हुआ तभी शेयर करना. क्या बोलने का? ब्रेकअप हो गया. Don't be ashamed of a breakup. Breakup is part of life, and in my research, before the age of 24, there has to be 2 breakups, 2 होता each, and both the breakups makes you emotionally resilient. Sometimes it so happens that as friends, 4 of you are good friends. One person को किसी ने कटाया, because in एक ग्रुप में एक चक करने वाले निकलते हैं. इतना पकाते हैं साला, वो इतना पकाते हैं. अपन क्या करते हैं, कल्टी मारते हैं, अपन सारा पिक्चर हो जाता है. बट क्या है, उसको पता चलता है. वो आता है अगले दिन, तुम लोग किधर गए थे रे? कुठे गेला तर तुम्ही लोक? नहीं आम्ही नाही, आता अभ्यास करतो, ती वाचत होतो. But he understands. And when you feel really left out, what you should do? This is a lab for life. Medical college is a lab for life. And what you should do? You should say, I'm so sad and upset that you really dissed me. I felt sad that you really. Then you'll feel, हाँ यार उसको बोल देंगे, देख बस, तेरे को ले जाएंगे, पर तू तेरा बहुत मच मत कर. हमारे दिल्ली में होते. Because हमारा पहचान है डायरेक्ट मोदी के पास. वो नहीं देना. Because when you share feeling, the other person feels like opening the heart. Because there's a song, feeling say feeling tak aaja pyare. So important is that you share your feelings and you chase your teacher. Next. अभी ये खाली थोड़ा इंटेलिजेंट देखो, ऐसा 3-4 कोड तुम लोगों ने कितना कोड बोला, आप लोग भी तो आपने भी याद है क्या? Best doctor is Benjamin Franklin. learning life. Satire is a tool of the oppressed, and sarcasm is the refuge of the primitive. People who are sarcastic will remain unhealthy all their lives. ऐसा होता है, एक डिपार्टमेंट में क्या होता है? नहीं, आप सारे एक डिपार्टमेंट होते हैं. त्याला बात है, अली आपले काय समजते काय? Hello ma'am. If anger gets multiplied by judgment, you get an adjective. तुमचा मुलगा मला राग येतो, त्याला कसं मार्क्स मिळतोय, तो कुत्र्या काठी adjective. Because emotion plus judgment is adjective. Adjective plus judgment is sarcasm. So practice sharing feelings continuously in the college, because this place is a lab of life. Next. And discovering of compassion happens in the lab of life, and that is the medical college. How do you do it? You do it by asking 3 questions. One is, every time when I see a patient, what do I learn? Yes, but how do I feel? I really felt that this patient is alone in the hospital. No relative comes to see the patient. And I really feel, you may not do anything, but it stirs something inside you. I remember Professor V.R. Joshi in Bombay. If I ask you, if a child holds a pebble in his hand on the beach, what will the child do? No. Child will feel it, put it in his mouth, chew it, because child is still not educated. Make the sound, smell it. And that's what Professor V.R. Joshi taught us medicine. He would say, Harish, observe the patient. He would start with observation, like all of us good teachers, and would reach partly the diagnosis. Then he would say, let's do percussion. Observation is visual, like the child sees the shell. Percussion is touch. Auscultation is sound. Okay. Palpation is touch. Is there a smell of urine? And he would use, and the 5th sense is compassion to the patient. All 5 senses. And what has happened now? In the round, get an MRI scan, then CBC, LFT, HFT, and then don't forget to do his thyroid, and okay, then show me the reports in the evening. We are not doctors. We are clerks, medical clerks. Compassion comes when you use all 5 senses, plus the sense of compassion. And that is what you need to do in this lab for 5 years. This place is a lab of life.
लास्ट स्टेज पे लाया गया सुबह 6 बजे। विनोद, तुम जब एक डेड बॉडी को देखते हो तो तुम्हें कैसा लगता है?
आई एम सॉरी सर।
नहीं बोलो, कैसा लगता है? कुछ तो लगता है।
सर, डॉक्टर्स को तो रोज ही ये सब देखना पड़ता है, आदत सी हो जाती है।
मुझे आदत नहीं हुई। मैं तुम्हारे बहुत पहले से डॉक्टर हूं, मुझे आदत नहीं हुई। मैं जब भी किसी डेड बॉडी को देखता हूं तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि हम एक लड़ाई और।
This is very important. After some time, everything becomes a habit. Marriage becomes a habit. कशी है बायको? Normal routine है. MBBS becomes a habit. After you finish it becomes a habit. And if it becomes a habit, you start dying. You start dying, and the doctor inside you dies. Meet 10 doctors and ask them, how's work? 3 of them will say, routine है क्या? 2 hernia निकाला, एक appendix निकाला, एक abscess निकाला, routine है. 3 will say, नहीं, आज का hernia में ना, वो साला उसका बस इतना ज़्यादा था, it's about to burst. I just could not do it. It nearly bursted it because that person is still interested in his work. In couples, 15 दिन honeymoon को गया, I understand her completely. क्या जरूरत है इतना जल्दी? spouse is like an onion, धीरे धीरे खोलने का. It's a lifelong activity. If you are not able to discover new things in your spouse throughout life, you are gone. So when your work becomes routine, your compassion dies. Your compassion dies. And doctors thrive because of compassion and skill. Medical diagnosis is all about skilled compassion. Skill you learn from your teachers, and compassion you discover inside your heart. When you start getting bored, compassion dies. And what is the difference between a doctor and a good doctor? Compassion. He or she is able to feel what is happening the other side. As ma'am said beautiful in the morning, empathy. He or she is actually able to feel with almost with every patient. Not that he feels the same pain, but an aha happens. And that is something which we need to learn. Maintaining of compassion and discovering of compassion happens in the lab of life, and that is the medical college. How do you do it? You do it by asking 3 questions. One is, every time when I see a patient, what do I learn? Yes, but how do I feel? I really felt that this patient is alone in the hospital. No relative comes to see the patient. And I really feel, you may not do anything, but it stirs something inside you. I remember Professor V.R. Joshi in Bombay. If I ask you, if a child holds a pebble in his hand on the beach, what will the child do? No. Child will feel it, put it in his mouth, chew it, because child is still not educated. Make the sound, smell it. And that's what Professor V.R. Joshi taught us medicine. He would say, Harish, observe the patient. He would start with observation, like all of us good teachers, and would reach partly the diagnosis. Then he would say, let's do percussion. Observation is visual, like the child sees the shell. Percussion is touch. Auscultation is sound. Okay. Palpation is touch. Is there a smell of urine? And he would use, and the 5th sense is compassion to the patient. All 5 senses. And what has happened now? In the round, get his MRI scan, then CBC, SR, LFT, HFT, and then don't forget to do his thyroid, and okay, then show me the reports in the evening. We are not doctors. We are clerks, medical clerks. Compassion comes when you use all 5 senses, plus the sense of compassion. And that is what you need to do in this lab for 5 years. This place is a lab of life. Those who can build compassion will become great doctors. Some is my friend, so I can take liberties. So what happens is घर से दूर नोट्स शेयर करने का, साथ में बैठने का, शाम को क्या करता है, क्या करती है, अंदर से दुख दुख होने का. और तुम लोग बड़े तेज हो. हमारे जमाने में ओल्ड स्टोरी, गरीब घर की बेटी अमीर घर का. अभी तुम लोग ऐसा लॉजिकल लव है तुम्हारा. समझ के माँ बाप क्या करते हैं, पैसा वैसा है क्या नहीं इसमें. इकलौती बेटी का 3-4 बेटी हैं. सो लव हो जाता है. एंड इन योर केस इट इज गुड बिकॉज 50%. हमारा टाइम पे 5 boys, 1 girl. It's so difficult. Scene was tough. And in that love, what happens is marks go down. Actually, you're supposed to rise in love, but we fall in love. And some of us who want to propose, but कुछ नहीं, खाली हाथ है. क्या करने का? हमारे पास उन लोग आते हैं. Doctor, what to do? I'm in Aurangabad, MGM college. I proposed to 3 girls. None of them are. They're saying only friends. Hands-free friendship, only friends. I'm your friend, We can talk. But don't send me any WhatsApp message. So much that WhatsApp में message change होता है, तो फिर पता चलता है intention क्या है. See, nothing wrong with love. But what is important is it's easy to get a boyfriend or a girlfriend, but difficult to get good friends. It's easy to get a boyfriend or girlfriend, but difficult to get friends. If you have a boyfriend, you are not efficient. And if you don't have one, you are not efficient. And that is something which is very, very important. Patch atoms, very few. Have a look at this. Buy the CD, don't torrent boy must go. Have a look at this carefully.
Here we have a juvenile onset diabetic with poor circulation and diabetic neuropathy. As you can see, these are diabetic ulcers with lymphedema and evidence of gangrene. Questions?
Any osteomyelitis?
None apparent, although not definitive. Treatment? To stabilize the blood sugar. Consider antibiotics, possibly amputation. What's your name?
I was just wondering the patient's name.
Marjorie.
Hi, Marjorie.
Hi. Yes, thank you. Let's move on.
Now, we carry the textbook of diagnosis, signs and symptoms, diagnosis, signs and symptoms, diagnosis. But the wisdom lies between the signs and symptoms. The wisdom lies when you hear the complete story of the patient in his own words. The wisdom lies between the nuance between the signs and symptoms. A Muslim patient, when she's sad or he's sad, will say, "Mujhe mayusi hoti hai." A UP man will come and say, if he's improved, "Badhiya hai." You have to listen to the story of the patient completely. Don't rush like clerks. Just sit down with the patient and listen to the complete story. That will make you wiser doctors. And in medicine, when you look at the patient, as ma'am said beautifully, look into the eyes. But Indian patients sometimes, ma'am, they don't look into your eyes. They look down. So, apne eyes se dikhne padte. But you don't have to do that. As ma'am said very beautifully, look at the place where the eyes ought to be. है ना? लोग इंडियन पेशेंट झट से अपने को आंखों में आंखें नहीं डालता ना, टेंशन आता है. कोई घूंघट रखता है, कोई ना, तुम्हाला कसं बघायचं, कामाला असं तुम्हाला लाभ काय आम्ही खानदेश, आम्ही विदर्भचे कसं आहे, तुम्हाला कसं, तुम्ही पाय लागून आपण. But as ma'am said beautifully, look at the place where the eyes are. And when you talk to the patient nicely, start practicing now. This place is the of life. Because ultimately, that is what works. When you look at the patient feels healed. He might not improve. And when the patient looks at you, you get healed. And that is medicine. Medicine is always a two-way process. It's never a one-way process. In the first what term we feel powerful. Somebody, said the doctor, what is working? That, 3 months. After MBBS, you feel you know everything. Slowly you start knowing you don't know a lot. And when you are 45, 50, then you actually know both kuch nahi aata. So that's important. The second most important thing is the high and the buy for the patient. Remember, there's enough research, ma'am will agree with me. What you say, the first sentence, what you tell the patient is actually captured by the patient. हाँ क्या है वो इधर नोड है, पर नोड क्या है? कैंसर भी हो सकता है, खलास. उसके बाद तुम 10 दिन भी बोलो नहीं है कैंसर नहीं घुसता है. Opening statement what you make is very important, and that research has shown that it's grabbed. It is like saying, no, I love you. नहीं friend बाद में नहीं होते. तुम love you बोला तो पटक गए तुम, फंस गए. Girls be careful. हाँ, 2 गिलास थोड़ा दूध पीने के बाद नहीं बोलने का. So the first sentence, very important. And as ma'am said also in the morning, as the patient leaves, see, it is not whether the patient is improving or not. That's one part. But the patient feels completely accepted and completely respected when he leaves. The buy is also very important. I still remember this patient coming and saying from Hindu hospital, Doctor साहब हमारा patient operation table पे मर गया. पर सच्ची बोलूं, doctor है ना number 1. Why? Because he had complete compassion with the patient, and that I think is very important. Compassion has to be maintained. Emotional energy bank is drained in life. पळापळी करायचं चायला इथे जा तिथे जा राग वाढतो इमोशनल एनर्जी बँक इज ड्रेन सो कंपॅशन मेंटेन इज व्हेरी इम्पॉर्टंट नोबडी टीचेस यू कल्चर इन मेडिसिन यू हैव टू लर्न कल्चर फ्रॉम योर पेशेंट्स જૈન અહીંયા આવ્યો તમારે પાસે તો શું કહેવાનું નવકાર મંત્ર કરવાનું જ नवकार मंत्र बोला तो जैन लोग एकदम ऊपर चढ़ जाते और नवकार मंत्र उनका मंत्र तुम मालूम नहीं तो क्या ऐसा बोलने का नवकार मंत्र करवा आपलं मराठी माणूस आलं तर सांगायचं विठोबाला नाही विसरायचं काय एखाद्या कोळी आला तर सांगायचं खंडोबाने एकवीर आपलंच काय You have to know the cultural background of patient. Cultural literacy is not taught in medical practice. You have to learn from your patient, and you learn only when you listen to your patient. The idioms which they talk, and that is, I think, very important. But next, mistrust type. You think they can ever trust each other? Putin and Obama? No. कभी-कभी अपन एक साथ बैठते तो कभी-कभी mistrust होता है. Extra lectures. हमारे इधर होता है कि नहीं मालूम है हमारे उधर ऐसा सीक्रेट लेक्चर होता है KM हॉस्पिटल में स्पेशली हमारे नायर में नहीं होता है सर हैज कॉल्ड एक्स्ट्रा लेक्चर सर इट्स ओनली फॉर 4 of us एंड क्वाइटली 4 people go कुछ जाना है ना क्या कैंटीन में जाओ एंड मिस्ट्रस्ट कम्स मिस्ट्रस्ट है तो एक ही उपाय उसका शेयर द फीलिंग है मेरे को लगता है तू मेरे को चू बना रहा है तू कहाँ जा रहा है तू कहाँ जा रहा है आम्ही गेस्ट लेक्चर काय बोलत चालते It is so important to build trust because higher the mistrust, worse the stress. More the trust, better the health, and that is important. You know what happens? Sometimes when you come from far away, people don't say time हो गया बोलता है नहीं इतना टाइम बोलो बोलता है वो रोहित भी बहुत अच्छा आदमी है बहुत अच्छा आदमी मैडम प्लीज आता बात
क्या हुआ इसको सुसाइड केस है जहर खाया है तो इधर कहीं को पड़ेगा अंदर लेके जाना वो क्या उसकी माँ फॉर्म भर रही है ना उधर
जल्दी कीजिए ना
सुन डॉक्टर वो बेचारा मर रहा है कुछ करना
सॉरी उसे कैजुअलिटी में ले जाइए आई एम ऑफ ड्यूटी नाउ
ऑफ ड्यूटी बोले तो जहर खाया है तुम्हारे सामने मर रहा है तो ऑफ ड्यूटी बोले तो
देखिए इट्स अ केस ऑफ अटेम्प्टेड सुसाइड पहले पुलिस फाइल बनवाना पड़ेगा
अभी तेरा अटेम्प्टेड मर्डर किया तो तेरा ये हॉस्पिटल तेरे को बचाएगा या पुलिस डिबेट करेगा
8 days ago there was a boy who had 10-year-old boy who had an extrapyramidal reaction to haloperidol. You would know later when you get into second, third. All sir would know. Gynecologist also, neurologist. Fantastic. I was really happy to be in that entire discussion. External reaction is because of the drug. You get dystonia, and it's very frightening but not fatal. Entered this hospital at Cadell Road. The pediatric registrar said, I have to talk to the pediatric consultant. मैं बोलता फिनार्गन दे ना रे जाएगा नहीं आप 40 minutes they went around up and down. You know why? Because Indians suffer from this entire malady of playing safe. सेफ रहने का अपने क्या प्रोटोकॉल फॉलो करने का प्रोटोकॉल है पीडियाट्रिक कंसल्टेंट को बिना पूछ के दवा देने का नहीं अपने क्या लव पड़ा ना को Playing safe is much more dangerous than playing wrong. And Indians have suffered because they have played safe. I'm honest in the government department. काम करत नाही काय करत नाही I'm honest. A renal transplant patient is subjected to a number of psychological tests. Why? I don't do it. The transplant mother comes, माँ बेटे को दे रही किडनी बेटा डायलिसिस करके थक गया उसका मेंटल सिम्टम समझने को मेरे को कोई साइकोलॉजिकल टेस्ट की जरूरत नहीं है 5 मिनट पता चलते देने का है क्या हाँ लेने का है क्या हाँ कुछ प्रॉब्लम है क्या नहीं खटक आई गिव फिटनेस व्हाई शुड आई ट्रबल दैट पेशेंट व्हाई प्ले सेफ टेक रिस्पांसिबिलिटी एंड डू योर वर्क An autistic child has to go 17 times to the department of psychiatry for a certificate. Why? Playing safe. कान टेस्ट करो, आंख टेस्ट करो, नाक टेस्ट करो. अरे क्लिनिकली देखो ना यार, क्लिनिकली देखो, पता चलता है. So in such a patient, remember in life, don't go always by documentation, because in the best interest of the patient, if you do something, law will protect you. I have given ECTs to patients without consent very rarely, because there was nobody to give consent. नहीं आपला कानून है क्या, प्रोटोकॉल है क्या, NABH प्रोटोकॉल है क्या, आपली बॉम्बे साइकियाट्रिक सोसाइटी का प्रोटोकॉल है, कंसेंट के बिना. अरे the patient, if you don't give ECT, he is going to commit suicide, because ECT is only one successful treatment for saving lives, electroconvulsive therapy. And nobody is there, what to do? Then I said, भगवान ने consent दिया, अपन ECT दे दिया. My dear friends, in this lab of life, learn not to play safe, but play active, and that I think is very important. आता family, doctor's family. The best time of the day we spend with our patients. The best time of the day. The best time of the day we spend with our patients. Sometimes we can't say no to a visit. Sometimes we can't say no to a ruptured appendix. Doctors are doing a lot of good work. A lot of good work. And we miss our meals with our families. We miss our meals with our families. And slowly things really get worse. It's very important to look at this aspect. And by the way, surgeons don't marry anesthetists. सुबह डाइनिंग टेबल पे साला एनेस्थेटिस्ट और सर्जन, ओटी में सर्जन और एनेस्थेटिस्ट, शाम को बाद में केस लिखने का सर्जन है, शाम को शादी में भी सर्जन और गायनेक एनेस्थेटिस्ट सर्जन एंड नो मैरिज. Change the screen if you want to get married. Family life is very important, because family contact time really goes down, emotional contact time really goes down, and that really causes a lot of suffering. So many doctors' kids don't want to become doctors. ये बाप जैसा बनने का क्या? उसका फोटो रखता है मैं खाली बापू कौन है, डॉक्टर. But the point is, it's tough when you really want to really do a lot. Sometimes family suffers. It's a very tough call. What to do? It is important to steal time. Doctors need to understand that they should not go around making everybody happy. आज काय त्याचं आपलं काकाचं मुलगाचं चुलताचं लग्न आहे, नाही जायचं. Steal time and be with the family next. As a psychiatrist, I was given the afternoon slot. Physician बोलता है सुबह का slot, surgeon बोलता है शाम का. तू बैठ, दोपहर को फ्री है, तू बैठ जा. अपन क्या है, psychiatrist लोग उंगली दिया तो अपन घुस जाता है. Because we are missionaries, we know how to create our space. हमको पता है, हम उंगली दो हम घुस जाता है. गुरु पिक्चर आपने देखा है? हाँ, क्या बोलता है वो? हमने टांग अड़ा दिया साहब. आज दोपहर को प्रैक्टिस स्टार्ट किया तो एक भी पेशेंट नहीं सका. If I hear some footsteps, बेल बजाने का, अरे कोण आहे पकडे धोंडो साहेब, तो तुमचं पेशंट नाही साहेब, तो समोर वकिलासाठी आलाय. ऐसा पेशेंट इज द नॉवेल पे नॉवेल. कुछ लोगों ने बोला 25% कट देना. हमने बोला नहीं, ये तो हम जिंदगी में कभी नहीं करेंगे. हमारा पैसा, मेरा इनकम हम दूसरे को कैसे देंगे? रात को कैसे नींद आएगी? हम बोला नहीं. और कावासाकी में घूमेगा क्या? घूमेगा. अपने को क्लोन बन के क्या तुम ब्लू आई ब्लॉन्ड हेयर चाहेला, तुम्ही कानाखाली मारायचं असं वाटलं तुम्हाला. ब्लॉन्ड हेयर आणि ब्लू आय, कोणाला काय आपलं शेट्टी सारखं कोणाला नको. ब्लॅक हेअर आणि व्हीट स्किन कोणालाच नको जायला. सगळे ब्लॉन्ड काय तुम्ही लोक म्हणायचे, बापरे. हमने बोला हम नहीं करेंगे, नहीं आएगा तो चलेगा. हम कुछ क्रिएटिव कुछ न कुछ करेंगे. हमने क्या किया? प्रैक्टिस पेशेंट ने जाके घूमने का, स्कूल में जाके प्रिंसिपल, मैं तुम्हारा टीचर्स को आधा घंटा वर्कशॉप फ्री में लेता है. टीचर हमको 1 घंटा लेक्चर देणे का तुम्ही. अब आय डू दिस सगळं ऐकून घ्यायचं अर्धा तास. असं करत कावासाकी बजाज वरून मारुती व्हॅन 7 वर्ष लागले. पण हल्लीच्या मुलांना गाडी इमिजिएटली पाहिजे चायला 40% द्यायला लागलं. परवा मला फोन आला फ्रॉम MRI सेंटर. MRI सेंटर से वी वांट टू मीट यू. वाय? युअर कवर इज विद अस. मेरा दिमाग थोड़ा सटक गया. आता माझी तो गया मैं उधर. योर कवर विद योर मनी में बिठाया. मैंने बोला बॉस ये इधर आने का नहीं. My dear friends, how many will you take up? How many of you will take up the challenge and say, education is the only way by which to increase your practice. Go to different groups and educate them on your subject. Your practice will be sound and very strong. And as of now, with that method, it takes a longer time. But if I sit 24/7, I have work. क्लिनिक में भी नहीं बैठा, रास्ते पे अम्ब्रेला लेकर बैठा ना तो भी लोग आएंगे. Why? Because you have taken a sure road. So take your call, man, friends. Do you want to do this or do you want to do that? Sometimes our self-esteem depends upon how wealthy we are. कौन सा गाड़ी? मैं साला 2 मारुति कार के बीच में मेरा बाइक पार्क करता था, कोई शर्म नहीं. वैसा बाइक में बाइक को बरोबर मजा भी ज्यादा आता है. मजा भी ज्यादा. गाड़ी में क्या औरत सीधा देखते, हस्बैंड सीधा देखते, कुछ नहीं, बात ही नहीं ऐसा सीधा देखने का. बाइक में क्या है, क्लोजनेस आता है. और तात्या ने अपने को स्टॉप किया, एकदम स्टॉप किया तो और क्लोज लगता है. So I would never compromise paying a bribe to anybody, even if I starve. This hospital is the lab of life. Choose your call, my dear friends. Next. How to set up a private practice. But what is very important is that don't start practice at 10 places. हमारे उधर कुछ लोग हैं. Tuesday, Thursday, अंधेरी. Wednesday morning, गोरेगा. पूरा रेलवे स्टेशन कवर किया. पब्लिक को मालूम ही नहीं तो किधर है. एक जगह बैठो, झंडा गाड़ के बैठो, 4-4 घंटा पेशेंट्स लोग आएंगे. And one more thing I tried. In one place I sit for 12 hours with 2 hours break in between. सब लोग बोलते हैं हम लोग को 5 पेशेंट देख के थकता है. हम थकते नहीं क्योंकि we laugh with our patients. Ma'am, we laugh with our patients. Without humor, you will burn out. It's so important to see things on the lighter side. एक बार आके पेशेंट बोला तुम बड़ा थका थका लगता है डॉक्टर, तू ऐसा आके रोज मेरे को सारा सुनाएगा तो मैं थकेगा नहीं तो क्या होएगा. ऐसा सब बोलने का नहीं मेरे क्लिनिक में, ऐसा नहीं. ह्यूमन प्रैक्टिस, human being, you are destined to become a doctor. That's why you are a doctor. Every 5 patients go down quickly, go for a walk, say hi, keep them, enter the hospital and say hello to the security guard. What happens? Your hypothalamus starts releasing good chemicals. But doctors generally do this. नया डॉक्टर में बहुत सिंह रहता है. I want to change the world. I want to become a doctor. I want to be a gynecologist. I want to become a pediatrician. सीट मिलने के बाद I want to become a pediatrician. Associate professor बनने के बाद प्रोफेसर बनने के बाद पार्किंसोनिज्म. The doctor is dying. Doctor is dead. A doctor who can keep you swing, sing and smile alive all his life will remain alive and kicking. And it's so important to be very human. You can have long practice hours, but it can be very, very interesting. In practice, crisis होएगा. सब पेशेंट अपने हाथ से अच्छा नहीं होता है. कुछ पेशेंट में अपना गलतियां होती है. कभी कभी माप छोड़ देते हैं. नर्स बहुत सेक्सी है तो नर्स को स्पेशल है, माप छोड़ देते हैं. ऐसा बाहर जाके किधर अभी नया टॉप में ऐसा बोलने का नहीं. डॉक्टर शेट्टी ने बोला हम लोग माप छोड़ते हैं. गलतियां होती है. कभी कभी एंटीबायोटिक से रिएक्शन आते हैं. आपको मालूम है ना कौन से एंटीबायोटिक किसके साथ क्या करने वाला है. पेशेंट जोर से चिल्लाता है. तुमने दवा दिया. इंडिया में क्या चला कॉन्स्टिपेशन हुआ तो सबसे बड़ा बीमारी. आमची काय असते सगळं परसाकट बंद झाले. 107 ताप असणे काय प्रॉब्लेम नाही, परसाकडे बंद. तेव्हा आपण ऐकून घ्यायचं आणि आपला चूक झाला तर माफी मागायला लाजवायचं नाही. टू से सॉरी टू अ पेशंट रिक्वायर्स करेज, humility and honesty. We are humbled by the illnesses we treat. And we become humbler when we understand that everything we can't treat, everybody does not get well with us. And our humility to accept that I'm sorry changes a lot. I got an email from a person. मैंने तुमको 3 बार फोन किया, तुमने फोन नहीं उठाया. I had a लंबा चौड़ा email. मैंने लिखा, Gayatri, I'm sorry. It must have been a bad day. I'm a human being. खट करके पेशेंट अपॉइंटमेंट लेके आ गया. आज भी पेशेंट लोग बहुत गुस्सा करते हैं क्या? सॉरी बोलने में क्या जाता है? बाइक को असू कि पेशेंट असू, नवरा असू कि पेशेंट असू, सॉरी बोलने का. Sorry, I'm not in love with you. So, Gochi happens in practice. Sometimes there is uterine bleeding after whatever, patient, you just can't see the patient dies. Sometimes sudden viral fever, you don't know what's the bloody virus, the patient just drops dead. We can't do anything about it. We fail so often. And when you practice opposite each other, interesting. When you start practicing, we don't speak to each other. We send this fellow sends his water bag to the opposite. That fellow sends this water bag here. And those two water bags become friends, but doctors don't talk to each other. I still remember when I was going to Pune in Indrayani Express to meet my friend, a cardiothoracic surgeon was in my train. He got down. I saw him getting down with his anesthetist, and across the road there was another cardiothoracic surgeon. They did not talk to each other, but the anesthetist talked to each other. Anesthetist को क्या लेना है? वैसे पैसा देता है नहीं इन लोग साला 20% देता है 30% देता है. They did not talk to each other. One of them died. They did not talk to each other. In my hospital, teachers have not talked to each other for 25 years. Some of them have died without talking to each other. That day we took an oath because the medical college is a... And we took an oath, हम नफरत के वारिस नहीं बनेंगे. हम नफरत के वारिस नहीं बनेंगे. There's a lot to learn from the respect. Accepting your colleague exactly as he is something which is very important. So when somebody has a gochi, don't sit down and talk. अरे कुतला माहिती आहे का काय झालं? त्याची वाट लागली रे, पेशंट लोकांनी हॉस्पिटल तोडून टाकलं. जायला त्याला असं नाही करायचं ना, त्याला विचार करायचा ना, असं नाही करायचा. Go to the hospital and stand by your colleague. Because it can happen in your place sometime. You can never say. In Panvel, one doctor was killed, almost died. Without any reason. He told them, 75-year-old man, consent लिया, high risk है, मर सकता है, मरने के बाद 4 लोग आकर उसके मार के निकल गए. What to do? Go and assist the doctor, because we don't have anybody to assist us. In a globalized era, people will throw their anger on doctors and teachers. And we are not wrong all the time. Madam, we are not wrong all the time. Next. Yeah, go ahead. Are you a technician? I'll finish in 5 minutes. Are you a technician or are you a professional? If a physician says the person is fit to go back to work, an employer, HR fellow says, yes, certificate हम देखता नहीं, हमारा rules हमारा है. Patient comes back to you and say, तुमचं certificate त्यांनी फेकून दिली. आम्ही हे एवढंच करू शकतो बाप, ह्याच्या पुढे आपण तर करू शकत नाही. आमचं काम उपचार करायची आणि सर्टिफिकेट द्यायचं. तर तुम्ही तो नाही घेत तर आमचं चूक नाही. Then you are a technician. If your certificate legitimately is not acknowledged by the employer, it's your job to become a professional and tell him, phone him up, I have given this certificate and this absence is true. He had this problem and his absence is true. This is not a false certificate. I heard that you threw the certificate away. You are violating the human rights of this patient. Please use this word human rights all the time. हट जाते हैं हम लोग. You are violating the human rights of. Please understand that you are not a technician. You go one step ahead. In psychiatry, if a learning disability certificate is not accepted by the school, I go to the school. पीछे से बहुत गाली देते प्रिंसिपल. तू कौन है शेट्टी? समोर आले हाँ डॉक्टर शेट्टी कॉफी देणार की चाय? कॉफी पण नको, चाय पण नको. त्या मुलाला आज की अगोदर. It is important to stand for a patient. It's important to stand for the rights of a patient. We are not technicians just to treat a disease, just to cut an appendix, just to remove a baby. We are supposed to stand for the rights of the patients, and then you will find meaning in life, and then you are a professional. Next. Have a look at this, and we stop in next 5 minutes. Indian 5 minutes, no, American 5 minutes, exactly 5 minutes. Have a look at this. This is a very sensitive slide. It brings up a lot of emotions, and there's an issue which I need to really discuss.
It is necessary. Tell them to follow it. Yes. मुझे आपसे कुछ बात करनी है. आपको अंदर आने किसने दिया? जाइए बाहर और पब्लिक रिलेशन ऑफिसर से मिलिए. मैं आपसे मिलने आया हूँ. आपको ये बताने कि आपके आदमी को बात करने की तमीज नहीं है. जानवर समझते हैं सबको वो. मैं अपना सामान लेने आया हूँ, कोई भीख मांगने नहीं आया हूँ. और ना ही कोई इस तरह से मिस्टर, यहाँ सभी को अपना टीवी लेने नहीं आया हूँ. मैं अपने मरे हुए बेटे की अस्थियां लेने आया हूँ. एक बाप का अपने बेटे की रात पर कोई अधिकार है या नहीं? या उसके लिए मुझे नीचे रिश्वत देनी पड़ेगी? आपके पास इतनी फुर्सत होगी, मुझे मेरे बेटे की अस्थियां दिलवा दीजिए. I'll talk to you later. Paul.
At INH Ashwini, I conducted a workshop for doctors how to talk about death. We are not taught how to talk about death. And we are very lucky. Doctors are very lucky in India, because if somebody improves, तुम्ही देवासारख्या, and somebody goes, तुमचं काय चुकून आहे? ही देवाची इच्छा होती. And they said, please conduct a workshop on death. And I asked them 3 questions. I asked them, if you have a choice to die, how do you want to die? Then they started moving in their chest. Death apna bhi hoega to phad jate hain. Then I asked them, as and when, if you have a choice, as and when you die, whom do you want to be around when you die? And the 3rd question I asked them was, after you die, how would you want to be remembered? These 3 questions took 4 hours. And I did not have to tell them, do this, do that. I just helped them understand death through their context. And what happens when somebody dies? Surgeon is missing. Resident खड़ा रहते उधर. अरे surgeon सामने आओ, physician सामने आओ, psychiatrist सामने आओ. Stand by the dead person, not by the dead body. Dead person. Let the relatives weep and grieve in front of you. Accept that you are also upset because somebody died and it was beyond your control. Put your arm around the closest relative. Don't avoid the situation at all. These are situations which make you more human, more compassionate. And the more you run away from such a situation, you start dying as a doctor. I still remember when my patient died. It was an ECT patient, electroconvulsive therapy. That's the only patient who died while giving electroconvulsive therapy. 1993, 4 ECTs, he was my close relative. Everything was normal, 5th ECT. One brother came from the village and 7:30 gave him a coconut water. And I did this big mistake of not asking him at that time, are you starving? Anesthetist made that big mistake of, because we assumed that he knew 4th ECT was over, 5th he was starving. The nurse made that big mistake and he aspirated and died. We could not save him. And ma'am said, don't cry. But we also have tears. We also cry and we are normal human beings. And I wept like a small child. The relatives came, I said, I had a choice to say, anesthesia reaction, anesthesia sometimes. And I said, no, this is what happened. And I called my friends also. I did not say, I'm Amitabh. I called a friend. I said, yeah, I said, who are you? Friends also came. 8 hours the ordeal went. And the patient went through an autopsy. Things got settled. And because he was my relative, whenever my mother and father would go for a marriage or my in-laws would go, they would say, Tera beta ne mera isko mara. And that they understood, face the situation when things go wrong. And teachers in medical college should teach this. They should stand there when somebody dies. They should face such a situation. Experience. You are taught the wrong thing in the family. Gussa, पीना सीखो बेटे, पराया घर जाओगी. माँ ने कितने बार आप लोगों को बताया, पापा को गुस्सा है तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं, माँ में नहीं आना चाहिए. Anger is, there are many emotions. I will not talk. Anger is one emotion. You need to understand. Pure anger is love. Doctor gets angry with his wife, but does not get angry with the neighbor's wife. Because he loves his wife. Isn't it? We get angry with our children. It's बघा ना, तुम्हालाच बघतोय ताई. होय. तुम्हालाच बघतोय. You get angry with your children, but you will not get angry with the neighbor's children. की आपलं लेणं घेणं नाही, काय नाही. आपला मुलगा anger, because anger is love. And anger is an emotion which is misunderstood. Pure anger is love. Malicious anger is hate. And it's an important emotion to accept that it is normal. अरे मेरे को तेरे पे बहुत गुस्सा है, क्यों? तूने मेरे को बोला तू नोट्स देगा, मेरे को 3 दिन से तू नहीं दे रहा, मैं क्या करूँ? लगता है मेरे कान के नीचे तेरे को 2 बजाऊं. Normal student. नहीं क्या गुस्सा मत दिया. I understand you. काय का अंदर से चल रहा है वो साला. काय का गुस्सा आता है ना स्वीकारने का. The mother who says, मला तुला 2 कानाखाली 2 मारायचं आहे, normal mother. नाही आता corporal punishment सगळं नाही ना, आता मारायची ना psychological impact होत. Abnormal mother. Abnormal mother. So understand, anger is very, very, very normal. Next. There's no laugh.
मैं तो रास्ते से जा रहा था, मैं तो भेलपुरी खा रहा था, मैं तो लड़की घुमा रहा था. रास्ते से जा रहा था, भेलपुरी खा रहा था, लड़की घुमा रहा था. तो मिर्ची लगी तो मैं क्या करूं?
After 15 years of your practice, suddenly you will find that your wealth is less than the others. Suddenly you want to become president of IMA. Suddenly you want to wear identity. ना identity नहीं ना, इतना साल मेहनत किया भी अपने को नाम चाहिए. Remember one thing. Money is temporary. Health is permanent. But some of the spouses will say, तुम्ही 20 वर्ष औरंगाबाद मध्ये काय केलं? त्याला बघ. तर त्यावेळी मी काय म्हणतो, तू जा ना त्याचं बरोबर. नाही असं नाही, तू आपलं. Sometimes wealth is always unequal to people. Some people will have 3 cars, some people have 2, some people will be very tense to having 1. So all, the point is, self-esteem depends upon what is inside. When the fan goes round, you feel nice that you're honest to your patients. We did not remove the appendix twice. In Bombay, some places they remove the appendix twice. Some places, I will not tell which place. क्या second time पहले आधा निकलता. We have been honest to our work. We have made mistakes, but we have learned from our mistakes. We have laughed at our Gochi and we will not do it again. And whatever we have is the gift of God. That I think is the most important. Next, last. Okay? Once done this. You know what? Indians have another problem. आपला reputation काय? लोक आपल्याबद्दल काय बोलतात? Reputation is a fantasy. Character is the key. Indians are so ashamed of what people say. Atal Bihari Vajpayee से लोग अपने बारे में क्या बोलते हैं? मनमोहन सिंह always say, बीजेपी वाले क्यों चिल्लाते हैं? सब वर्ल्ड में अपना नाम खराब होता है. कुछ नहीं. Reputation is a fantasy. Character is the key. What people say does not matter. If everybody is saying excellent about you, there is something wrong with you. Okay? Just for the slides. बड़ा डेमोक्रेसी का बात कर रहा था. If you know this Amritanandmai is a hug Hug Mata. She hugs people. And my dear friends, how to improve the hug size in our life? 3 methods. There are people whom we don't like, we hate. I can't stand her here. When she comes, my BP goes, fuck man. Psychiatrists are allowed to talk this. I'm not alone. I have two psychiatrists, 2 famous psychiatrists, Aurangabad, Vikrant and Ashish. I can't stand her. Hug size is increasing your acceptance level, bringing down your hate list. And how to do it? 3 methods. One is the person whom you don't like and you can't stand, just go and listen to the person, increase the interaction. And not to love the person, huh? Just allow the thoughts to come and go, feelings to come and go. So then see slowly your acceptance, you are less intolerant of the person. That is number 1. Second exercise is talk to those whose ideologies are totally opposite yours. You want cow slaughter, they don't want cow slaughter. Listen to the other point of view continuously, and you'll find that you don't accept the viewpoint, but you accept the person. And the third thing is spend a lot of time. And the third is talk to small children because they are not spoiled. And they are not educated. They still, when they see a shell, they use all 5 senses. And that's the way to increase your hug size. Next. We'll finish, because there's something more. I should not really take Rohit for granted. And Rohit, hug क्या लगता है? किधर है? हाँ. अपना योगा विपासना कोई ऐसा बुढ़ा होने के बाद नहीं करने का क्या? जवानी में करने का, हाँ? अमेरिका में सब लोग यंग एज में योगा करते हैं. मेरे को उस दिन आया था फोन हिंदुस्तान टाइम का. Should yoga be introduced in schools? I said it should have been introduced 200 years ago. One form of meditation is good for health, whatever you like. Tasbih, rosary, vipassana, a gift from Lord Buddha. One of the best ways of healing yourself. Yoga, transcendental meditation, Brahma Kumari, जो अच्छा लगता है करो. आणि काय तो ब्रह्म विद्या जे पाहिजे ते करा. पण एक मेडिटेशनचा केलंच पाहिजे. ऍक्च्युअली एंडोर आहे मी जॉब्स का जानतो. हाँ, I close my entire presentation by making you hear this full song, 2.5 minutes. 21st century is how you maintain your mental poise, how you maintain your mental fitness, how you maintain your mind, how you maintain your relationships. Somebody said, Charles Darwin said, it is how you adapt to the environment you change. What students, you are awesome guys. सुबह से शाम तक क्या बोलते रहे, अंदर से ऐसा कोई आत्मा ऐसा बोलते हैं. And what witty guys, huh? My God, you are blessed. You are already cloned, huh? तो cloning कर क्या है इन लोगों ने? But I think awesome students, absolutely awesome students. I would like you to hear this song, and then I stop. As I thank Akshat who picked me up from the airport in the morning, Roshan who without him this could not have happened. So happy to hear Mukta in the morning, and I learnt a lot from you, ma'am, and I will keep that thing which you said, 2 or 3 things which are very important, which was so beautiful. Rohit, thanks for inviting me, and Plexus team. Hey, handsome boy, for interviewing me. I thank the dean, Dr. Shroff, Dr. Jadhav, Girish, Praveen, Abbas, and so many others. And before I leave, I would like to say one line. If God comes here and asks me, if you are born again, what would you want to be? And I'm going to say, in the presence of this brilliant psychiatrist, your Vikrant and Ashish, the best psychiatrist in Aurangabad, and I'm going to say that if I'm born again, I would still want to be a doctor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving us such a wonderful lecture. Let us all give a standing ovation to both of our guest lecturers.
Thank you all. Thank you very much. I know I'm going to miss a lot. We are leaving today only. But let me complete this saying 3 cheers to MGM Medical College. Hip hip!